Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Amanda Ridout, health coach and homeopath, and we are here today with our favorite pharmacist, cosmetic chemist, and nutritionist, Ben Fuchs. And in our last segment, Ben shared with us some amazing information of how fucoidan can assist a person in the prevention of dementias and how it helps with brain health.
One of the major issues when it comes to brain health and when it comes to degenerative brain diseases like Alzheimer's disease and dementias is the immune system, inflammation. Alzheimer's disease is an inflammatory degenerative disease. Anytime you have degeneration, you also have inflammation. And anytime you have inflammation, you have the immune system, the body's defense system, being activated. So inflammation is a defensive response. The main headquarters for the defense department, if you will, the body's defense department, is the digestive tract, the gut. Specifically the intestine. When we talk about the gut, most of the time, we're referring to the intestine. So there is a major link between intestinal health and brain health, and this is not something that a lot of people take into account when it comes to how they deal with their brain, whether it's dementia, or whether it's Parkinson's disease or Huntington's disease, or whatever kind of brain health challenge you may have. Most people, many people at least, don't link the gut to brain health issues, and this is unfortunate because there is a major relationship between gut health and brain health. Scientists call this the gut-brain axis. So number one, you've got the immune system component to Alzheimer's and dementias, and this is going to implicate the intestine whenever you have an immune problem, be it an autoimmune disease or asthma or any other kind of immune problem. You're going to have a digestive component, the digestive system, or the gut being the headquarters for the immune system. Number two, you have the relationship between toxicity that enters into the digestive tract through the intestine, into the blood, and then into the brain. Gluten is especially problematic. You know, a lot of folks know about gluten intolerance, but many people don't relate gluten intolerance to the brain, but you can have gluten intolerance of the brain. You can have brain health issues that are related to gluten and other so-called lectins, which are plant components that can interfere with human health. So you got toxicity, and by the way, sugar counts as a toxin. So sugar can also be an intestinal toxin that gets into the blood that can affect dementia. You've got the so-called immune relationship between the digestive system and the brain. And then you have what we call the gut-brain axis, which is the communication that takes place from the gut to the brain. So you've got three elements involved in gut health, in the connection between gut health and brain health. You have the gut-brain axis, which is the communication that takes place between the intestine and the brain. You've got toxicity, including sugar and gluten, that enters into the blood and through the digestive tract, and that can affect the brain. And then you have the immune system component, Alzheimer's and dementias being immune-type degenerative diseases, and the gut being the headquarters for the immune system. So what can you do? If you're dealing with dementia, you're dealing with Alzheimer's disease, or any degenerative brain disease, and you want to work with the digestive tract, the first thing is work with specific foods. If you have food intolerances or food allergies, those need to be eliminated. And then gluten gets a lot of the press, and it's certainly a problem for many, if not most people. But there's all kinds of components that are in vegetables, and they're in grains, that are in seeds, that can be problematic. And everybody's going to have their own specific profile of problematic foods. Look for your particular problems. You can go by your digestive health. You can go by gas or bloating or discomfort that's associated with specific foods, bowel movement issues. Anything that's going to cause any food that's going to cause a digestive problem, it's very likely, or at least it's possible, that it will also affect mental health as well. So eliminating problem foods, go by how you feel from a digestive system perspective to determine whether a food is problematic for you, and then eliminate that food. Another thing you can do is calorie restriction. Calorie restriction is always a good strategy. Almost every study that's been done on longevity associates calorie restriction with longevity. The less calories you eat, the longer you live, the less calories your body has to process, the more resources it's going to have available for healing, for health, for brain health, for the health of the entire body. So calorie restriction can be very helpful. I'm going to talk about the ketogenic diet here in a second, and that's a great way to leverage calorie restriction. Longevity has a couple of really neat products that can help you do the ketogenic diet. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Fiber, also important for a couple of reasons. Fiber helps expand the intestine, or helps fill the intestine so you won't eat as much food. It can help you implement a calorie restriction program a little bit easier. But fiber also helps feed good bacteria. I'm going to talk about good bacteria in a second, but this is the essence of digestive health. So-called good bacteria technically they refer to these good bacteria as the microbiome. I know we've talked about them at length. A healthy intestine mandates a healthy microbiome. We all drink chlorinated water. We all drink fluoridated water. We're all taking antibiotics because we're getting them in our tap water, in our fish, and in our dairy, and in our meat. So a lot of the lifestyle things that go on in the 21st century in the United States and probably around the world involve killing off the microbiome. So replacing that microbiome and supporting that microbiome are really, really important for maintaining gut health and then maintaining mental health. Fiber helps feed the good bacteria. It's good bacteria food. Technically they call it prebiotics. Yeah. So fiber will swell and expand in the intestine, so it helps you implement a calorie restriction program, and it will also help feed those good bacteria. Another thing you could do is fermented foods. Fermented foods can help replace those good bacteria. And if you do fermented vegetables, you'll get the benefits of the fiber, and you'll get the benefits of the bacteria that are in the fermented vegetables. So fermented beets and fermented cabbage, sauerkraut, kimchi, daikon, radishes. Anything that's a fermented vegetable is going to have two mechanisms, actually three mechanisms, for supporting gut health. Number one, it will provide the gut, the intestine, with good bacteria. Number two, it will provide the intestine with fiber, which can help feed the good bacteria, prebiotic fiber. And number three, vegetables are a good source of nitrogen, which bacteria absolutely love. Vegetable juices, even though if they're not fermented, can also be helpful. You'll get the nitrogen from the vegetable juice. You'll get the fiber, which will help swell the belly or swell the intestine, kind of fill you up a little bit. And all the water from the vegetable juice is also very filling. In fact, vegetable juice, beginning your meals with a vegetable juice, and when I say vegetable juice, I'm talking about a homemade vegetable juice.
And not juicing where you just get the concentrated liquid. It's the whole thing.
Whole thing. Vitamix, NutriBullet, even a blender. Drink down that fiber. And if it's too thick for you, add a little bit of water. That fiber is super duper important. And you lose it with a lot of those juicers where you lose the pulp. One more thing is digestive enzymes with your meals that will help you break down your food. A lot of digestive intolerances are caused by foods that are not completely broken down in the stomach. And when they're not completely, particularly proteins, when they're not completely broken down in the stomach because of a lack of enzymes, and many people as they get older don't have as much digestive enzymes as they need to fully break down foods, literally particles of food, undigested particles of food can enter into the intestine and leak into the blood through a leaky gut, and this can initiate an immune or an inflammatory response. So making sure food is completely processed in the stomach is very important, and this is the role of enzymes, and it's also the role of acid. If you use Longevity's Ultimate Enzymes, not only will you get enzymes, digestive enzymes, to help break down the foods, but you'll also get something called betaine HCl, which is a sort of pseudo stomach acid, which can help support the activity of the enzymes and help you break down the foods, especially proteins, into the amino acids, the very small pieces that are required for protein metabolism at the level of the intestine. If you don't break your foods down completely, little chunks, literally little chunks of protein can make it into the blood, and that can initiate an inflammatory immune response anywhere in the body, including the brain, but also for folks who are dealing with autoimmune diseases. That can be important. And then, of course, nightly essence, probiotics. You got to make sure you're on a good probiotic supplement, even if you're not don't have any frank symptoms, even if you don't have dementia, even if you don't have an autoimmune problem, even if you don't have an inflammatory health issue. Everybody needs good bacteria. Everybody needs the nightly essence. They're not part of the Mighty 90, the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. You're not going to get them in the Healthy Start Pack, but they are well worth it. Not only for folks who are suffering from some kind of illness, but for everybody. And one of the neat things about the nightly essence is it also has digestive enzymes in it as well. Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk about real quickly is the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet we've talked about in the past is
we have videos on that. So
you have videos on that. That's right. It's a high-fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate, low calorie diet. All four of those components are very important. High-fat, moderate protein. You got to be careful with the protein. A big mistake people make when they start the ketogenic diet is they eat too much protein. Protein can get turned into sugar, and that will bypass or diminish some of the benefits that you would get from the ketogenic diet. So you got to be a little bit careful with your protein, and then very low carb and low calories. So something like 70 to 80% of your calories coming from fat, 10 to 20% of your calories coming from protein, and then maybe 10% of your calories coming from carbohydrates. That's not very many calories. and then keeping your total calorie count low, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 calories a day. And then also the Keto FX bars and Keto FX shakes are great longevity products that will help you take advantage of the ketogenic diet. They're loaded with nutrition, and they don't have a lot of sugar in them, so you'll get a lot of nutritional value, and you'll get energized, and you'll get nutritionally satisfied without having to go into sugar. Plus, they taste really great.
So Ben, why the Nightly Essence? Why do you like that one in particular?
Number one, the Nightly Essence is loaded with good bacteria. It's got, I think, 10 or 15 billion units per capsule. That's a lot of bacteria. And when you're dosing yourself with probiotics, you really want a super high dose, 50, 60 billion units a day. And if you use the Ultimate Nightly Essence, you don't have to take a whole bunch of capsules in order to get a good dense amount of probiotics. Secondly, the Nightly Essence has a wide spectrum of bacteria. There's hundreds of different bacteria in the gut. And sometimes when you're taking a probiotic supplement, you'll get one type of bacteria, or two types of bacteria, or five types of bacteria. With the Nightly Essence, you get 12 to 15 different types of bacteria. Okay. And then thirdly, the Nightly Essence has digestive enzymes in it. And that is super duper cool. And not only digestive enzymes, but it also has another enzyme called nattokinase, which is not a digestive enzyme, but it's a blood purifying enzyme. And one of the reasons why probiotics are so important is because they eliminate toxicity from getting into the blood. So working with intestinal health via probiotics is a blood cleansing strategy. And what's neat about the Nightly Essence is not only do you get the probiotics to support blood cleansing, but you also get the nattokinase, which acts like a little roto-rooter to kind of break up clots and break up sludginess that are inside the blood that improves circulation. And by the way, that's a great strategy for improving mental health. The more blood you get to the brain, the thinner the blood, the more oxygen you're going to get, the more nutrients you're going to get, and the more detoxification you're going to get as well.
Okay, well, that is really neat information. I also love those products. I've been on them for a long time and really can see the difference. So the last video we talked about fucoidan and how that helps feed the brain and give us brain health. Today we talked about the gut and how a healthy gut promotes a healthy brain. I will say, and this is just my story, before I started on longevity, I was starting to have difficulty forming words. I mean, I could think them. It was just really hard to say them, and it was embarrassing. And I noticed that I'd stop, and I'd have to think, and I'd be like, okay, how get the word out? And I did that a lot. And as actually, I think you could sort of see them in my videos, in the videos we've done. I'm not sure. I haven't really gone back and looked. But as time has passed, that has gotten better. And I'm quicker with my words, and my thoughts can come out quicker. So for me, that's huge.
Nice. We have like the synaptive for your brain.
I'm on that too.
and we're going to talk about that, and that's a really important product. Also, we're going to talk about the B product. That's also very important for the brain. But we don't often connect the digestive system with the brain, and that's why I think it's really important to really talk about not just digestive health issues, but supplements that you can use to support digestive health when it comes to dementia and mental health issues.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody, for being with us again and receiving this information. We will be back next time, and in the meantime, Ben, you have a wonderful week.
Thank you. Good to see you, Amanda.
You too.